this episode, I'll be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, some altcoins which you guys can watch out or look out for, and at the same time, the CPI narrative. So, we have the CPI coming in from an Indian perspective today. It's already Tuesday. So, yeah, we have the CPI coming in, and with this being said, just avoid having a lot of leverage in your futures position if you're long on Bitcoin or whatever it is, because the market is going to strike off. Jerome Powell is going to strike off all of your positions. Do not fall into that trap. Apart from that, let's talk about what's going on in the crypto market right now. So yes, Bitcoin is trading at $49,836, and Ethereum is up 4.4%, trading at $21.84. So we'll just move on to the charts, and I'll just open a high time frame chart from an investor perspective, and from a trading perspective or from a trader perspective too. I'll discuss what can you guys do. So yeah, I'll just get this to the full screen, and if you look at the current chart of Bitcoin did vanish out all of the shorts. Second thing, the ETF narrative did play out, but that brought a huge retracement too, which you guys can clearly see in the chart, which was right here. So it was just like buying the buying the rumor and selling the news. Now, what can we do about Bitcoin if you're an investor? If you are an investor who has been holding Bitcoin probably from here, from this place, or maybe from the recent low. So if you're holding Bitcoin from 3320 or whatever the this is, look at your horizon first and try understanding what was your goal. If your goal was just to make 100% a year, if you've achieved your goal, maybe now that you understand and now that the market is bullish, you guys will have this mentality that I want more and more. That's fine to have, and Bitcoin has a long way to go. But from my perspective and with what I've seen in the market for the last 3 years, it's better to at least lock in 50% of your gains only if your target was 100%. If you're a person whose horizon is quite long and who's willing to give it more time, then there's no point of selling anything only if you do not want to lock in your gains or crib over it that I did not lock in my gains. If that's not the case, then you can just simply follow the horizon which you've kept for your investments and do not, do anything with your Bitcoin holding or investments or whatever you call it. But if you are holding a small amount in Bitcoin, then I don't think you might just start changing your, market investment. So if you're trading in or if you are invested in Bitcoin with a very small amount, bring that money in and put that inside the major alts. Once that narrative plays out, get that money into small market caps or the small cryptos. So these micro caps or these micro cryptos, these major alts and these mid alts are going to give you more money. With this rotation, you might be able to scale up your portfolio more. Now coming to the trading perspective, from a trading perspective, my drawn on liquidity is $52,000. You guys can have a buffer of $51,500 to $52,200. What does this mean and what is this drawn of liquidity all about? From an explanation point of view, you guys can clearly see that we saw a rejection right from this place, which was a previous rejection too. Market mitigated this out and we fell back again. After Bitcoin, getting back or coming around 34,000, we saw a retracement again. This order block got mitigated and we started falling like anything. Now, this whole fall was navigated and this imbalance was never ever balanced. Market has balanced this, and if you look at the chart right now, you guys can clearly see that 52,000 was the last balance which market did not. So from a balance perspective, 52,000 is the biggest imbalance. And again, we have an imbalance here as well, which has not been balanced because from a drop perspective, it never retraced back to here. So maybe we might see a small retracement here, and post that we might see a huge, expansion again, where you can see Bitcoin moving to $66,000. Remember that Bitcoin is not going to move 50 to $66,000 in just one candle or in just one wave, because market moves in waves and you guys need to understand that. Now let's talk about what can Ethereum do. From a trading perspective, you guys have understood that fine. If I look at the monthly or rather the daily chart, not the monthly chart, you guys can clearly see that we might see a rejection anytime, and you exactly cannot even time the market that the market is going to reject from here. So yes, 51,500 to 52,100 can be the scene where you guys can think about selling Bitcoin from a trading perspective. Leverage people can simply avoid leverage until the CPI dust gets settled. And the trading put or from the investment perspective, you guys can simply hold Bitcoin only if that is not, tormenting your horizon. Now let's talk about Ethereum. So if you look at Ethereum, you guys can clearly see that this was my long call out for Ethereum and it is playing out very nice. Currently, Ethereum is up 18% and my stop loss was 7%. So I'm kind of happy with that. My fund account entry was right here and I exited it I think I exited it with a very, small profit. Let's not talk about that from my perspective. I think if you look at Ethereum, Ethereum has an open target again to $3,600, again with the same logic where we have where we have a huge imbalance, and that imbalance is going to get filled with this 3600 getting mitigated out. Apart from that, if you look at Ethereum, the most important thing which you guys need to understand about Ethereum is that, see, Ethereum is very bullish when compared to Bitcoin. Why? Because Ethereum can still go to $10,000 in a very quick phase when compared to Bitcoin moving from 50 to 150 or $150,000. That's one thing. The second narrative is Ethereum keeps on upgrading its network again and again, and with a lot of upgrades, and with the I think EIP has passed probably. Yes. So with all of these updates, Ethereum is basically getting better and better, and it is just mitigating out all of its problems, the scalability issues, and every other thing which it has, including the fees too. So yes, that can be a strong narrative, and you have a lot of smart contracts already built upon Ethereum's chain. So Ethereum from an investment perspective is something which you guys shouldn't, I think, be thinking about selling Ethereum before it reaches 5,000 or $7,000. My personal target for Ethereum is that I might think about selling Ethereum there, but before that, I might not think about doing anything with Ethereum. That's one. From an investment, from a trading perspective, if you want to trade Ethereum, again, CPI is there, simply avoid it. But again, if you see Ethereum trading around 22 to $2,300, you guys can think about accumulating Ethereum from a long perspective again. And the stop loss can be 6 to 5% with a leverage of 2x, and that sums up to 10% stop loss with a basic, a target of somewhere around 30 to 20%. So that's basically a 1 is to 2 or a 1 is to 3. So that's it about the trading perspective. The altcoins which I am currently looking for, I have accumulated them partially and I'll accumulate them more. They are Atom, CurveDAO, Injective Protocol, and GRT. I'll break down all of those charts for you guys, and let's just start with Atom. So Atom from a project perspective is good, from an investment perspective is good, and from a Sharpe ratio perspective is also good, because you do not see good flash crashes in Atom when compared to other alts. That's first. Atom is currently trying to build a base here, which it has not. The base looks faulty and the base has not, matured yet. So yes, my position in Atom is going to get, again averaged out here, because my first position in Atom was somewhere around $10.8. So I'll probably look to accumulate more Atom. Yeah, I would have probably look to accumulate more Atom somewhere around $9 to $9.5 if I ever get that opportunity to. If I do not get that opportunity to accumulate Atom at that point, then I would just simply ignore and let my other positions run. That's all about Atom. From a target perspective, I am easily expecting $13.5 to get mitigated first, because I like keeping conservative and achievable card targets instead of talking about $50 or $60, which is not going to get mitigated or breached very soon. And at the same time, you guys might just keep on waiting that this will go $50. I will just keep on waiting and my money is getting, quadrupled or into 5x. I don't think that makes sense. Let's start accumulating and let's start making small gains. Then we'll think about the bigger ones once we have a bigger narrative. That's all about Atom. The second one, which is CRV, I'm already positioned inside CRV. My entry was 0.49 and I'm probably up somewhere around 7%. I will add more CRV into my bags. I probably might add 1000 or 2000 quantity of CRV more. From a base perspective, I really like the base. We might see a small liquidity grab of rebalancing this whole move out, and then my personal targets for CRV happens to be somewhere around $1 to $1.5. Now, what can be the risk in this trade? Investment perspective, just hold this, do not sell it off until it breaks 40 cents. And from a trading perspective, your stop loss, again, like I said, shouldn't be more than 10%, because in crypto, a 10% stop loss is a good buffer. If you are thinking about risking 1 or 2%, then every day or the other, your stop losses are going to get triggered. And I personally do not find that as a sense, because I like swinging more. If your trading style is different, then that might differ. So that's all about CRV, and your risk shouldn't be anything beyond 10%. And your entry from a trading perspective for CRV should be right here. Let me just get that line and show it to you guys. It should be right here, which is 47, and not exactly 47 cents, but you might keep a range of 45 cents to 48 cents. That's the place where you can think about accumulating 50% of CRV. And if you do not see that happening, then just accumulate 30% of CRV in your allocation at the current price. Keep the rest 70 for a flash crash, or wait for these levels to get mitigated. That is how you plan your entries and plan your averages too, instead of buying everything right at the same price or at the current market price. That's all about CRV. We are through with Atom. Now we'll talk about injective protocol and GRT. So if you look at GRT, GRT has a very good base. The liquidity grab is done. You guys can clearly see there was just one liquidity grab which came right here. And post that, we are in an expansionary move. So my targets are still going to be 23 cents. I am already positioned inside GRT. My entry was somewhere around 0.1612 or 0.1650, and it's already moving up. I'm not going to make any more entries until I see GRT again around 15 cents to 14 cents. If I see that getting mitigated, I might think about adding more size. Apart from that, I am not thinking about anything else. This is all about trading. Again, from an investment perspective, if you guys are looking to accumulate GRT, or if you guys are already having this accumulated, just hold this, wait for 50 cents or 40 cents, and give your holdings at least a horizon of a quarter or two, and then only think about selling GRT. That's all about GRT. Now the last one is injective protocol. This has a strong narrative, a strong base, and a consolidation right near the supply. The orders are getting absorbed, and even when market dipped recently very badly, injective didn't. If you look at injective, the high was somewhere around $44, and it only came back here thrice to mitigate all these orders out, or the demand side orders out, taking out the sell side liquidity. And now it is trading, it might start trading near the supply again, and this time I expect that it might shoot up to 50 or $60. Again, from an investment perspective, do not sell this, keep your horizon. I kept on repeating again and again in rest of the cryptos too, you let your horizon ride up, keep that a little more big. If you've already survived that last bear market, just try waiting for the bull market and wait for that altcoins rally. This is going to fetch you more money. From a trading perspective, wait for a mitigation to 30 to $34. That's a good point of interest and a value buying area where you guys can think about accumulating 50% of your position. Post that, you guys can think about accumulating more at somewhere around 20 to $25. Why? Because if you guys look at this, I don't see anything before $19. So this is not a safe space to accumulate anything, because we might just see a flash crash. But in after looking at the current scenario, I don't think anything like that might happen. From a trading perspective too, you guys can easily aim for $60. This is it for today's update. I will be posting more videos so that you guys stay updated with what altcoins am I watching out, what coins have the potential or has the potential to keep moving up, and there are a list and a bucket full of coins which can still explode. But we need a strong narrative from a major alt perspective, because we've already rather noticed a huge infusion of liquidity and a huge infusion of money too in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the next narrative is major alts, and the next narrative are going to be major alts. Now it's better that you shift your focus from Bitcoin and Ethereum to all of these major alts, because they are going to be the ones who are going to pump a lot. This is it for today's update. I'll see you guys in the next video.